22 victims have had various examinations, such as RMI. 12 autopsies have been carried out for people who died in the hospital, and for those for which the doctors had claimed that the causes of the deaths were complex, given the results of the various exams. These operations are now over. Therefore, death certificates can now be delivered as soon as the identification of the deceased have been established by the Identification Commission. Identification operations mean to make sure that we know who is now dead. As I've said, it is a necessary process so as to avoid any mistakes in the delivery of the bodies. For this, we've decided to have a fast process in order to twice a day have a meeting of the Identification Commission and identify the victims as soon as possible. The UNIVC has been activated, which helped us, which meant we also had the Research Institute help from the National Gendarmerie. This is how we've been able to be even faster. To this day, 71 victims have been formally identified. 71 dead victims have been identified, and a new identification commission is still ongoing. 52 permits of burials have been delivered. As for the process of presentation of the bodies to families who requested it, it is ongoing, and the first bodies have been given back this morning. I would like to remind you that all measures have been taken and all the services of the state are mobilized so that the bodies of the deceased are delivered to the families as soon as possible and in the best conditions as possible. Regarding the investigation, to this day, here is what I can say. I would like to highlight the tremendous work carried out by investigators, the work done to this day. They have been going through phone records, among other things. However, I'm not going to talk about the 6 ongoing custodies, which have to do with people who are suspected of having links with the perpetrator of the terror attack, or of having provided him with logistical help, for example, providing him with a weapon that he used. I would just say one thing. One of the person in custody seems to be the recipient of a text message sent by the perpetrator of the terror attack minutes before he started taking action. This text mentioned the acquisition of a pistol. I would like to add that there are many ongoing investigations on the various phone calls and text messages sent on the day of the event and during the days leading to the event. We are trying to identify who are the recipients and what the texts and calls were about. I would like all of you to respect the privacy of this investigation. Investigations mean that we can claim that this was a premeditated terror attack. Mohamed Lawesh Boulal contacted the Saint Laurent Duval rental company to rent a truck for the week of the 11th of July. He went to pick up the truck and left a check of 1,600 euros. This vehicle was supposed to have been given back on the 13th of July. Many pictures coming from the terrorist's phone showed that he visited the Promenade des Anglais a few times to try to figure out how he was going to carry out the attack. We saw a picture taken on the 12th of July from the driver's seat. Several pictures were taken on the 14th of July on the Promenade des Anglais and 1:43 and 6 and 4:02 p.m. and a third at 4:42 on the Promenade des Anglais, and a fourth picture later in front of another promenade. CCTV cameras from Nice showed us that the terrorist, before carrying out his attack, drove his truck on the Promenade des Anglais. He has been shot by a video going into his truck before crossing Nice from east to west, and once on the Promenade des Anglais, he stopped in front of the Neresco Hotel, lighting the warning signs on his truck. Then he started again and went back to where he was coming from. On the 13th, he was filmed around 10 p.m. Doing the same journey. A picture coming from the terrorist's phone also in this photo, we can also see a newspaper with the title, I quote, "He's voluntarily driving on a terrace of a restaurant." A computer was found in his home. By analyzing this computer, we saw that several web searches have been done since July the 1st regarding the festivities organized on the Promenade des Anglais and on the fireworks event in Nice. It was also he's also researched several articles about car crashes, looking for shocking videos about car crashes. Regarding the rental of the truck, regarding also an address in Nice where people can buy guns. The investigation showed that Mr. Boulel was looking for money the days before the attack. To this day, it seemed that the terrorists tried to borrow 5,000 euros, take a 5,000 euro loan. This loan was declined because of insolvency risk. He also tried to withdraw 1,000 euros on the 14th of July in an ATM, but was only able to withdraw 550 euros. He also sold his car on the 13th of July, the day before the attack, but the day before he had also rented another car, another vehicle. All these elements prove that this was premeditated event, at least for a few days before the attack. Let me now talk about the first elements regarding the personality of the terrorists. This person was not a strong believer. He was drinking alcohol, eating pork, using drugs, and had a rather wild sex life. He was described as a violent man against his wife and his children, and this has been said by his neighbors and his estranged wife. Another report claims that for a few days this man had let his beard grow, claiming, and I quote, "This was for religious reasons." He also mentioned the Islamic State group, claiming, and I quote, "I don't understand why Daesh can't have a territory." Another testimony said that about 7 to 8 months, the terrorist showed him a video of decapitation, and the person was surprised, and Mohamed Lawaj Boulat said, "I'm used to them." Analyzing his computer helped us reveal other searches carried out on the web, still starting on the 1st of July 2015 until the 13th of July 2016, the day before the event. So those were daily searches about, for example, surahs of the Quran, and searches on Anashid. Let me remind you that Anashid are religious chants that terrorist jihadist organizations such as the Islamic State groups use as propaganda tools. There were also searches on Alaid el-Filtre, the Islamic celebration celebrated at the end of Ramadan, searches on terrorist attacks in Orlando and on the shooting in Dallas, searches regarding the terrorist action in Magnanville, during which 2 police officers were shot. In the picture folder were found very violent pictures of bodies, corpses, and pictures about radical Islam, for example, fighters with the Islamic State group flag. Also, pictures of Charlie Hebdo's covers, pictures of Ben Laden and Mokhtar Ben Mokhtar. Let me remind you that on 16th of July, the Islamic State terrorist group claimed responsibility for the event. No elements of the investigation proves an allegiance of Mohamed al-Boulal to the terrorist organization, nor links with people pledging allegiance to this organization. However, this investigation and the analysis of his computer prove that there was an interest in this group for the radical jihadist movement. Terrorist attacks come from small groups carrying out terrorist attacks from Iraq or Syria, or perpetrated by people listening to these organizations. France is therefore a privileged target in what I would like to call local terrorism. This is a sort of a terrorist trend which urge people to take action in France, and people who carry out terrorist attacks in France don't need to go to Syria to receive training. As we've seen in many cases that we've covered, there is radicalization. Radicalization can be extremely fast when people targeted are vulnerable or fascinated by ultra-violence. In any case, this is a terrorist act. It is an act which in criminal law aims at disturbing peace. Thank you for your attention. I will continue keeping you informed during the investigation. Thank you.